We don't have anything concrete at this point. The National Gay and Lesbian Task Force has a really wonderful program focused on state and local ballot measures, and we certainly would hope to engage them if we did have this going to the ballot. And we would also be, of course, trying to get national resources to help fight that as well. I will say that given the record on these around the country, we haven't won any of them, except for Arizona, which won once and then lost 2 years later. That I think some of the national funders are reluctant to put big amounts of money in. And so I think it's really important as we construct this campaign, if we have to construct a campaign, that we're not only thinking about doing what we can to win, if that's possible, but also how we build a campaign in a way that really builds our infrastructure and builds us up for success on other issues in the future, regardless of the outcome of the election. So we have to look for those opportunities. And I think if we can demonstrate that not only do we have a chance of defeating it on the ballot, but that win or lose, we are going to move North Carolina forward, and we're going to make North Carolina one of the most pro-quality states in the South, that we may be able to get some of those national resources. We're also just going to have to step up as a community here in North Carolina. I mean, it is going to take, it's going to take resources, and it's going to take time. Yes?
2 questions. Maybe you answered this one already, saying that LGBT issues did not play out in the election, but I was going to ask what accounts for Virginia Fox's outstanding win in this last election. Homophobic. Second question, is it okay for schools to delete from their presentation of the Healthy Youth Act any mention of GLBTs?
Okay, 2 questions. The first one was about Virginia Fox's quite broad margin in her re-election to Congress. For those of you who don't know, Virginia Fox is the member of Congress from North Carolina who said that Matthew Shepard's murder was a hoax, and just every time she opens her mouth, something else idiotic and not factual tends to pour out. And she won handily. And I think, honestly, what you can attribute that to is a gerrymandered district. It is a very Republican, right-wing leaning district. And she has moved to the right, even from when she was in the state legislature, I think, because she's, if anything, afraid of being challenged from the right in her district, more than she is from the left. All of the districts are going to be changing in the next couple of years, and it will be the Republican majority in the legislature that's drawing those districts. So that's something that we're certainly going to be paying attention to, and along with coalition partners trying to find ways to influence as well. The second question was about the Healthy Youth Act, the comprehensive sex education, and whether schools can not talk about LGBT issues in the context of their sex education. There is nothing in the law that says they have to talk about LGBT specifically. What it says is that they have to provide complete and accurate information on all FDA-approved forms of contraception and disease prevention. And that information should apply regardless of whether a student is gay or straight. So they may not actually talk about LGBT issues in the or LGBT people specifically in sex ed. All of the better programs will. But regardless of that, kids should at least be getting accurate information. Great question. Anything? Oh, hey, all the way up front.
Ian, has there been any discussion of an early push on employment anti-discrimination, even if you don't expect winning the first time out, just to help push the other side off their strongest political suit, which has been, arguing on the marriage amendment?
Yeah, we will absolutely be introducing legislation on non-discrimination and trying to keep that issue alive and bring attention to that. And I think that really helps us convey to the general public which is overwhelmingly supportive of non-discrimination protections, that what we're seeing in this amendment is part of a package of anti-LGBT positions that they may not fully agree with, even if they're not quite comfortable on the marriage issue yet. So yeah, I think absolutely we have to keep that issue alive and push it, even though the environment makes it unlikely that we would see it pass. Yes.
On the marriage amendment, the last time it was coming up, it looked like it also would ban domestic partnerships. And I wonder if we have thought about going to the national companies headquartered in North Carolina that have already got domestic partnerships, which would be like the Bank of America, like R.J. Reynolds Tobacco, there are a lot of national companies headquartered here that have taken a strong pro-gay stance in their employment relationships, and whether we can get them to help out financially. After all, Bank of America is a big supporter of HRC.
Yeah.
And can we get them to help finance this fight?
So the question was, in the past at least, the version of the constitutional amendment that's been proposed would not only prohibit same-sex marriage, but also civil union or domestic partnership. And we believe even private company domestic partnership, health benefits, and other kind of benefits. And the question was, can we enlist companies that have those kinds of inclusive policies in helping us advocate against the amendment, and also potentially even getting resources from them. We absolutely are working to get companies that have good inclusive policies, folks like Food Lion, R.J. Reynolds, some good old North Carolina companies that have good policies, and asking them to join us in advocating against this kind of amendment. And I think absolutely we should be asking for resources. I don't have a sense yet of whether companies would be willing to step up on that, but we absolutely have to ask, and I think there are some good companies that would want to support us in that fight. And I'm going to actually end questions now so we can stay on schedule. But thank you all so much. I know it's not as uplifting a speech as I often give, but I wanted you to get a real sense of the challenges we face, and also to understand the opportunities we have even in this difficult environment. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for all the work that you have done and that I know you're going to do in the next few months. Thank you.